Hey there, y'all. Team Fish Knuckles here. Welcome back. We're here with another deck, Ho-Ho Slazzle GX. It's not that good, but we're gonna play it anyway.
We have to pump out deck content every
We're the
day.
anti-stream streamers. Let's make no friends on our way to the top. Team Fish Knuckles. Hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Seagrove makes the best content. Did you watch the Seagrove stuff yet?
So yeah, he does, but it's like it's a low key best content. It's the impression that I
Well,
get.
it's because I think if we like hooked up with Seagrove, like,
Yeah.
hey man, let me help you, because that overlay is kind of garbage.
Yeah, the overlay was
you.
like from the 70s.
Yeah, so once we help him out, but that'd be dope. It'd be dope. But yeah, so I'm gonna say we've been playing a lot of Expanded lately. It's like a lot. Like that's all we've been playing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So if we're talking about our usual show first topic, what have we been testing? What have we been playing? And you're right about that. It's expanded because there is an expanded cup scheduled to take place Saturday. I don't know, given the weather, it might not actually happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've either played myself or tested like 3 to 4 different decks for expanded. What about you?
I've only played one deck. I played 2 decks, I guess. Night
So
March
what
and
have you-
Volcanian.
Oh, you did play Nightmarch then one day,
Yeah,
right?
and I've played against a few decks now.
So let's start off. What have you played? What did you pilot in terms of expanded?
I played Night March and Volcanian.
Okay. Which one did you like better?
Volcanian.
Why?
Well, that's how it goes. That's just how it goes. But
Yeah.
I mean, Night March was faster and funner to play. Just simple, sort of throw through your items and get as many Night Marchers and discard and try to do it again the next turn. And it just seemed to me like that was the easiest way to hit really high numbers really quickly for one prizers or with your Marsh Shadow. So there's like benefits to it, obviously. I just think that Volcanian had a lot of good matchups with Kiawe in it, and I know there's a little bit of discussion about whether or not we should even be running Kiawes in our Volcanian decks, but I like it. I think there's just some math that needs to be done to see whether or not the Volcanian should be doing its Hoopa start or whether it's fine.
Did you see that
post?
Did you see that post that I had tagged you in?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I just think it's a math thing, right? Like, if you need the goal is like splashable attacks, right?
Yeah.
So if you need to hit for 230 every turn, how do you best complete that? And I think it's Ho-Ho.
Right.
But other people, it's Ho-Ho Guzma with those Floatstone. Like, it's easy. But I can see where people are like, oh, if you steam up 4 times in a turn, that's fine,
Yeah.
Or like that's the same, It's actually, well, it's 3 times. So how many energy do you need to hit 230 after the first attack? So it's just sort of doing some math there.
It's one of those things where you can have like 3 energy in your hand and steam up once, steam up twice, attach return, blacksmith. I mean, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with Volcanian and Expanded. And it's one of those decks. So like a lot of the decks in Expanded pop off.
Yeah.
I think Harry mentioned this, that Ricky from Karchak had said this to them, but like in Expanded, you don't want to play something that's fair. You want to play something that's busted. And a lot of the decks in Expanded are busted. Volcanian is busted for a different reason. Not because like it does things to fuck with the opponents or the player on the other side.
Yeah.
But because it can be super consistent and kind of get off what it needs to do in terms of numbers on a decent basis. I like the idea of Volcanian and Expanded. I also, we'll talk about it later, but I also like it in Standard going forward in this upcoming rotation, or I guess whenever rotation happens.
Yeah.
But the downside of Volcanian is that it's pretty 3 prize attacker heavy.
Yeah.
Some of the big deck in Expanded that's not is Night March.
Yeah.
And here's the other problem with figuring out what is good for expanded is that the last expanded tournament was way before I think Guardians Rising came out,
Yeah.
and maybe even before the Sun and Moon base came out. I don't remember the dates exactly. So I don't know that the same way Garbodor or a lot of other cards in Sun and Moon and Guardians Rising have kind of really changed standard. I I don't know that we know those cards' impact on the expanded meta. If that makes sense.
I mean, that's what the issues is when we were building decks, and why it took me so long to even come up with the Volcanion list is because I wasn't sure whether or not the adjustments that were made in standard were necessary in an expanded list. So, like, I'm running the Staryu tech, right?
Yeah.
Starmie tech. Does that mean I drop my Superior Max Elixirs? Does that mean I drop my Blacksmith? What does it exclude from the deck? What role does it fill in the decks that no longer need? What does it no longer need? Right. So, and that's why the Hoopa Skyfield versus the Brooklet Hill deck changes are such a big debate for me, because I was wondering how do I abuse the game as quickly as possible, right? And the issue with Brooklet Hill is I won't have enough Volcanions. The issue with the Hoopa Start is I have to run Skyfield and find a Manaphy,
Yeah.
And, do I run 20 Pokemon in a list just because I can? It's just a bunch of calls that I need to make as a deck builder, which is one of the things that I don't think as new players that I'm going to be able to be successful at. Building decks for me is super hard, because especially in expanded, because I want to run so many tech cards. I want to run Oricorio, Karen, Hex Maniac to stop item lock, and a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's how most expanded decks are built, with this built-in tech. Just
it seems
you have speed already.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the decks have one copy of a lot of different cards.
Yeah.
So whereas if you go to a standard regional and you look at the top 8 decks, it's okay, if it's a Darkrai Turbo Dark deck or Mega Mewtwo deck or whatever, most of the time those cards are the same 55, 56 cards. Mm-hmm. And then it's the last couple of spots where people tech in or they have a couple different changes. Yeah. What I've noticed with these expanded decks is it's 40 cards are consistent, and then it's one of 20 different supporters, or you know what I mean? Or one of 15 different supporters and 5 different techs for Pokemon cards. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to figure out. Chaos says that St. Louis was the last expanded. I think actually the last expanded was Toronto in May. And there, you saw, bless you, Seismitoad, Giratina, Volcanion, Primal Groudon, which includes 4 copies of a card that's $200.
It's 157.
Okay, 157. And a couple of other. I think at that point it was Loransis Vileplume that won first.
Let's see.
Yeah, I know that St. Louis was expanded. I'm just saying I think that Toronto was the most recent expanded, and that was mid-May. And Kettler lost to the right deck, but I think that St. Louis was back. I think St. Louis was back in February or something. But the point is that expand is a little tricky. So here's the deck that I'm worried about. Is the Trevenant Break? Have you heard about that deck?
What was it?
Trevenant Break?
Oh yeah, so Trevenant Break is something I got to play test against Calvin, who runs the Montagues League in Pearland.
Yeah.
He runs Trevenant Break. And I played Volcanion against it, and it's so quick. He just turn 1 wallies you into item lock, and then starts hitting you for spread damage. And after he's done spreading enough damage, it's either 30 to everything, or I think there's another attack that's 20 to each of the bench, and then 60 to your active, I think, are the attacks. after that, he can switch in his Necrozma that he's built up over turns,
And
and
just do 100 to everything else
100 to
that's already got
everything on the
damage.
bench. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. So I'm worried about it because like I like Shaman in expanded, and if you get off one Silent Fear and then one whatever the GX attack is for Necrozma, that's 4 prizes right there.
Yeah, 4 prizes. It's wild. He was
I
knocking
mean,
out my Lele's and my Volcanions in 3 turns, and I was like, "This is silly. This is silly."
yeah, that's kind of scary, dude.
But I mean,
That's
like,
that's that's the only deck that I don't have the cards for. B, can't find online, especially ones that'll get here in time, and then C, like a freaking item log. And I think a lot of decks can get around Night March easily.
yeah,
Um, I think Darkrai is pretty good, especially with like lasers in the Darkrai GX. Yeah, see, that's the most recent regional. I see you pulling it up. Primal Groudon, Giratina, Volcanion. Um, I don't
Seismitoad
know a lot. Yeah, I
Crobats.
don't. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Crobat
It's
list.
just a spread damage. Every time you like evolve into the next bat, it does like 20 damage or 30 damage, and I think it runs devolution sprays maybe, so that it can maximize on that. Let's see. Yeah, super scoop ups and AZs and stuff. So that way
Yeah.
you're able to
So
pick up your stuff and move on and redo the damage.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's one of the things. Like I don't know if Seismitoad will be good anymore, but
Well, why not? It's item lock, right?
well, the thing is, like, it seems to me that it required everyone else to not be able to like work around items. Like
You just
everyone's
need.
already removed items from their list from Garbodor, I think, right? Like, are people
No,
scared of
I
Garbodor?
don't. So here's what I think is going on right now. If you look at all of the lists that players have been putting up on YouTube for expanded decks,
Yeah,
like Rare Candy put up a a Marsh Shadow Night March deck.
yeah,
Brad at someone's PC put up a Turbo Darkrai deck. Um, there have been a couple of other videos that have come up for expanded, and all of the item counts in those decks are fucking crazy. Um, and I tweeted this to a friend of mine. I was like, "Hey man," or tweeted it at, I guess is what you're saying. I was like, "Hey man, what is the expanded play for next weekend?" And his point was like, "Dude, nobody knows. It's the same way Guardians Rising became legal literally the week before Seattle.
yeah,
We're going into a format kind of blind, and like you don't know what's going to happen. So it's hard to look at the list for May and take it to a cup late August or even the first regional in Indiana when I mean nobody knows, and that's kind of an interesting, a really interesting proposition to like, hey, you need to figure out, uh, what to do with what to do with this format. So to kind of bring it back to focus, though, it sounds like you're focused. Yeah, see, that's what we were talking about. This kid's really smart. He's a good artist. He's a good player too, but I think he's trying to like he's focusing on grad school and stuff like that.
yeah.
So
That's fair.
he's not making it out to a lot of local scenes. But yeah, the consensus is that none of these decks that have been floating around YouTube are considering Garb, and we don't know what it's gonna if it. Here's the one sentence to put it is that Garbodor really changed the format for standard,
Yeah.
so it's got to do the same thing to expanded.
Hmm.
And I think that's what's going to happen. So it's kind of interesting. This dude is tweeting all the time, and he's a good player. Um,
I was gonna say.
so yeah, I don't. So if there is this Cup Saturday, I don't know what the play is. I mean, I've tested a couple different things. I feel like every deck has its weaknesses and its outs, except one thing that is kind of busted is Trevenant Break, and I just haven't played it.
Mhm.
And I
It's weak
don't.
to psychic, so like, right? Is it weak to psychic?
No, it's weak to dark.
Oh my god.
It's weak to dark.
Can I
Yeah.
catch a break with his matchups? Like,
No, dude, it's not gonna happen.
never. But yeah, there's a cup this Saturday. Well, I mean, I guess a blind format. I mean, I'm just hoping that no one Smart, right?
I bet you we flip up. Everyone flips over their tables or their cards, and it's going to be Trevor and break. All the better players, at least, I think, are going to have that.
It's just too good. It's too fast. It's really like who goes first. Like, do you go first and get a chance to set your stuff up, which is like an impossibly fast setup regardless because you're playing expanded? Or do you get item lock turn 1?
Yeah. I mean, Trevor and break, the Crowsman is crazy. Dixie Shadows in the chat mentioned that we were talking about it a little bit. And it's like, for me personally, that's the one thing I haven't tested myself in terms of me playing it and playing it with other people. And that's the deck I'm worried about. I feel like you can get around Night March pretty easily. Darkrai is okay. Sometimes it gets slow starts. They're not hitting for damage fast enough unless they really get their 4 dark patches off turn 2. So yeah, man, so yeah. Are you looking at my Twitter, dude?
I'm looking at
your
Tumblr now. I'm looking at your Tumblr now.
Well, Tumblr's kind of interesting, I think. So the firm logo used to be Sam Houston, and after last weekend, I was like, I should probably take that off my Twitter as the banner.
Yeah.
Don't need that. What's been going on there? So yeah, with that Tumblr, I'm just trying to keep track of expenses and stuff that I'm getting, and stuff I'm selling. Yeah, just to.
Okay.
Just so that people have a guide, you know what I mean? They don't like go into it pretty blind.
Yeah. Hypnotoxic lasers. We have hypnotoxic lasers.
Yeah, and this is a good way you can keep track of what we've gotten.
Yeah.
So I've kind of started to organize stuff like staples, and then I have a binder that's like your tech binder. So it's got like 4 parallel cities, 4 Tapu Kokos, 4 Silent Labs, 4 Karens, 4 Oricorio, stuff like that. Like these techs that go off. But yeah, I think our recent testing has been expanded, and the ultimate result of that testing is either Trevor and Break is going to fuck some people up. Hopefully, I don't run into it, but you never know. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, when we were prepping for Virginia or Indy, it's like, oh, I'm worried about this deck, I'm worried about this deck, I'm worried about this deck, and then you show up and you don't even face any of those decks.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it goes. Like, what can people realistically afford to play? Also, is one of the things that you could keep in account, and that's why I think Garb is a simple, like, I don't have expanded stuff. I'm just gonna play what I know is the BDIF.
Yeah, you could play whatever. Yeah. You could definitely do them. I don't think that like stage 2 decks will be good in expanded, but stage 1 max might be good. So that's one of those plays.
Yeah, even Wade was saying like he was worried about playing Garb because it's stage 1. Like he was saying it's that fast that it doesn't even matter.
Right.
And I mean that's just getting used to the speed of the game, I think.
Yeah. So the list that you have posted up right now is kind of like on the right side are cards that I'm not sure I'll need but may want to tech. So like the Greninja for the Trevenant break matchup to turn off that item lock ability if it's a break in the active. The Magearna, but I don't know that the Magearna, like I need it for anything. Harry Chaos in the chat had mentioned a pretty good tech. I think it's called. No. It's that grass that we're talking about in the chat, the Verizian.
Oh yeah.
And then I also have I like the Psychic just in case for Tapu Cure because like otherwise there's no GX attacker in there, and it might be good to get a one-off of Tapu Cure, especially if Trevenant Break is popular and they got a lot of damage on the bench. Just Tapu Cure 2 of them away. And I also am thinking about fitting Jirachi in there. So I'm going to make a couple of changes to that list, but that's the skeleton as of right now. But yeah, so that kind of leads us to this weekend. So tell me, what do you think? The rain forecast look like it's going to fucking flood and rain like crazy all weekend. Have you seen any of that stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, I work for the city now, so we got alerts from Pearland, like, oh, hey, like, you're under tropical storm watch. Like, you are under tropical storm watch. Like,
the city of Pearland?
The city of Pearland, yeah. Well, city of Houston right now is what it says as well.
Yeah.
So, Let's pull it up because I'm pretty sure it's literally just gonna be. It's gonna be rain. It's gonna be raining. It's gonna be freaking hurricane level stuff.
So the prediction is 10 to 15 inches of rain between Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And yes, Chaos, we know you own a truck.
Congratulations.
But the point is that if it's fucking flooded out, no one's gonna be there when you show up, dude. So I'm glad you can get by, but I don't know that other people will be able to. That's what I'm worried about. It's
just as soon as you hear tropical storm watch, I think Pokemon goes from like your first priority to like, oh, I need to survive and live my life, you know?
Yeah, Chaos says he'll go so he'll be there so he can top, which is actually kind of fucking funny.
That's why I think we'll probably end up needing to message Katie, the organizer, to see what her plans are, because I really want to play this weekend because we've been working really hard, and if we're
as hard as you can
we're not going to Indy, so
it's kind of a lot of work for nothing if this thing doesn't go through.
Yeah, and then
at the very least they can move it to Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be so. It just depends on the store, right? Like for the most part, like
and the one
support us.
Yeah, so we'll find out, but it's at SciTech. I'll put it in the chat.
I have it pulled up.
You got it up? Okay, SciTech's Gaming on Saturday. You should go. It seems like everybody fucking in Texas is going to this fucking cup.
I
should have
went last weekend to this Tyler Cup, dude.
Oh my god, dude! I posted like in the chat. I was like, "Hey, can somebody sell me some Trev Break stuff?" And then Wade posted like, "Hey, I'll be there on Saturday, and I can give you the stuff if you want." I was like, "God damn it! Why are you coming? Please, can I pay you to stay in Austin?"
We'll see though.
Yeah, like I said, he's cool, but he's good. That means I don't want him around.
Yeah. It's actually I've been like, oh hey, like when people don't go that I like because they're good, I have a chance at topping.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, that happens where like sometimes nobody shows up to a cup, and it's like, oh, I think I can take this just because nobody really came.
Yeah, and that's just the way it goes. Like locals, right?
Well, here's the way I think this is the way to think about it. Like if there's a regional going down, you can be sure that in the Houston area, Brad will not be there, William will not be there, and what's this other dude's name? And John Kettler will not be there. They're going to be gone. So,
Foxy Chaos, don't you test us?
If you're coming from Huntsville, Vixie, I'd say be careful and check your plans, and maybe someone's got to ask them what the plans are for the cup, just in case people. Because there's that kid I was telling you about who's Jackson, who was talking to me a little bit about this weekend. He was like, "Yeah, I'm coming from Dallas." It's like,
Jackson always comes from Dallas, though. I played Jackson in my first at Dallas Regional.
Oh, the high school kid?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Is that who? Yeah.
I had like a fucking hour-long conversation with him Sunday night on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, why are you? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Indy. I'm going to Connecticut. I'm going to be here and here and here. And I was like, oh, I'm worried about this deck. And then he just like went off. He's a little like theory dude. He knows all of this stuff.
That's good though, because I'm not really like a theory crafter when it comes to this game.
Yeah, I hope he does well this season. Because he's a nice kid and a good player, and I want to get him on here at one point. But he's pretty good. So yeah, hopefully this cup happens, and what we would like to do is kind of what was I going to say? Yeah, just interview the winner of the cup, or maybe some people that do well in the cup. Hey, Vixie, if you're gonna be in Huntsville, man, give us a ride to Indy. And it's one of those things where like it's a little bit further out than Indy. But we'll
see in Indy, and Conroe's Cup will be expanded.
Maybe
maybe we should.
cup?
I'm gonna look into who's going to Indy now.
So that's what I asked Wade. I was like, "Are y'all going to Indy? What's up, man? Let's get in that van."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No." He said he was taking a break till Connecticut. I
I'm
think
gonna
or one
still
or
message
two.
Brad and see from the
Okay.
Conroe group. Well, the Conroe group's going to Indy, so
Well, find us on Facebook, please.
yeah,
see
just
see
message us because I mean I'm down to go if we can like carpool and figure it out.
Are you talking about the the Cards and Comics connection? Is that cup going to be expanded? I didn't know that. Whenever I was writing all these cups down to my schedule, I
Let me
didn't see
look
that
it
it was.
up. It's gonna be in this one.
But yeah, Houston is there's a cup I think every weekend. This
Honestly, is Houston like is like I don't know enough about like the nation to be like Houston has the best seed, but like it has like a top tier like in terms of tournaments that are around and like players that are good. From what it seems, like there's only like a few cities like it.
So I think like if you're putting the players in Houston like pro level, which is weird to say, but because they're not pro, it's not professional yet. But like if you if you're talking about players that have done well in regionals and have done consistently well, obviously Brad, John, apparently that William, what's his name? You went with him to Virginia, right? William or what do they call him? I keep forgetting what they.
Forgetting his name.
Yeah,
Damn it!
it's
We just said damn it. Whatever his name was.
yeah, I think it's William.
Or no, it's
Yeah.
something kind of hard to say. Or like,
Well, anyway, him,
yeah.
Rudy Paris, another dude named Ernie. I don't know that he travels a lot though. And then Jason Chavez, who hangs out at Card Shack or used to for a while. He qualified for Worlds last year. He didn't play a lot this season. And there might be like one or two other people, but those are people that definitely like have done well at regionals or Worlds. And then after that, I feel like everyone else is kind of it's anyone's game kind of after that. So no one's really hit it big other than those couple of players. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, the Conroe Cup it says it's going to be $5. And it's going to be expanded format.
Shoot, sweet. When is that one?
That one is the 16th of September. So we got about a month.
Okay. Okay. So I guess, and at least at that point, we will have a good idea of what's done well at expanded and what hasn't. So.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully by September we're like, where are we in the meta?
Yeah.
But
no, we'll know because Indy will have happened.
Yeah.
And there's another kid in Conroe that I like. I keep forgetting his name. I think his name is Steven. He's pretty good too, but I feel like he needs to get out. He needs to get out to some more events. I don't know that he travels a lot.
Yeah.
But like after that, everyone else kind of has the same fair shot at doing well as long as they play well. Yeah. I think there's some other dude named Kyle Griffith who used to play a lot. I don't know that he plays a lot anymore. But yeah, you can't. It's hard. It's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
To go out and do this stuff.
It's just there's a lot of good players, and you don't know who's going to show up where and when.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So yeah, Vixie, man, just send us a PM.
I got weekends off, so.
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Figuring it out, then let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Poke Kid, I'll get you later. Don't worry about it. I'll send you a PM later. But yeah, I mean, all right, Indy's happening. We did it. So let's switch it up. Let's talk about Worlds now.
Okay.
So all weekend, I got to watch all my people that I love from Houston just get bopped.
I know, it sucked. It sucked, dude.
Yeah, I saw Kettler I think he took an L, right? Straight L.
He took an L that was kind of rough. Because one of his games was like fucking 45 minutes.
Yeah, that was rough. That was mostly just like a playing issue, right? Like that's just the decidueye list. Like,
so I didn't come into the match until the end. So
Yeah.
I don't know what went down, but I know that like you could see his
I mean,
how
I get that bad too. I get that bad. It's just the only thing is I'm not on stream. Like I get like I just need to play one more card. Like you're playing
yeah
with your card, and I think it's more to show like how much he cares about the game, right? Like it's just like you
yeah
care so much that like you just start to shake. It's a physical reaction to like the stress. Like it's not that he's not like a good. He's a great player. He got second at
yeah
international. So like
right
I don't know. People like to talk shit and bring stuff like that up for no reason, but it's like it's just like his nerves and. Oh, but I mean
but
that's
yeah
just
so
his
he
passion.
yeah and then apparently Brad had like the board state to win, but the guy wouldn't give him the game. I
Yeah,
don't
it was
did
like
you
a
read were you
tie. He
reading the
tied.
tweets?
They tied
Okay.
super early. It was rough, and it was like round 3 or something of day 2, and it was like early
Oh,
tie.
was it not the win in it?
Uh, I think they
I thought
both.
it, I thought he might have
I
tied
know.
the win in it. I thought that was his issue.
Um,
For top eight,
oh, I didn't. Well, I didn't watch any of that. I'm talking about an earlier round that happened.
Okay, so for top eight, apparently Brad was in the winning end to get into top eight, and he toward the time was called, it was over, but like I think it was like, hey, if I had gotten one more turn, I would have won this game anyway. Why don't you just give me the match so one of us can get in? And I don't think anybody. I think the dude just was like, no, I'm gonna tie. Fuck you.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. And it's William Herman. That's the dude.
Oh yeah. Is that?
Uh,
That's not
say
who he
what?
played. You're just talking about Herman.
Right. I'm talking about him back today, the
Yeah.
Houston
Yeah.
talk. So yeah, there was John, Brad, and then I don't know anybody else from Houston. Do you know anybody else who
No,
went?
I was just watching John and Brad mostly for the most part. Just hoping that
Yeah,
we can take home another W for the city.
from Texas.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who even the good players are in Texas, all like that. So, I mean, I imagine I've seen them all in Austin or Dallas. But yeah, it was rough. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, besides our friends, like or like our people that we know losing, um, what did you think about the way the way Japan decided to play the meta?
You mean with their Galissapod deck?
Yeah,
I mean, I thought that was pretty smart, and I was hoping there'd be some kind of like surprise deck that nobody had seen.
yeah.
And dude, it must have been so frustrating. Like they kept chaining their Acerolas and just like removing all that damage and just starting from scratch. And it's like, man, that is kind of rough. Uh, I liked it. I thought it was a good play. There was Acerola. It was mostly, either Drampa Garb, Espeon Garb, or Gardevoir GX. But I don't really have any big thoughts on it. I don't know if Gauspod Garbodor is going to be a deck going forward. It very well may be.
Yeah.
But I don't really. It's one of those things where like, so for Evo, for example, in the FGC, like that's something you can kind of sit there and watch all day. There's an audience that's reacting. It gets kind of hype. There's some hype moments and like the chat's going and there's like 10,000 people at least watching and during finals there's like 100,000 people at least watching, but I didn't really get that vibe from what I mean, like from Worlds.
It's not the same. It's just
I
not
was
the
like,
same.
it's not, and they keep trying to, and the thing that bugs me about it the most is like all of the reactions are the same. It's like, oh, he missed. Wow, it's so devastating. He missed his attachment per turn. How is he going to come back from falling behind? That's so bad. You're right. That is so bad for him. I wonder how he's going to come back from that play. There's really nothing you can do about it. That's what happens when you play a card game. And it's like,
I mean, what else can you say? What else can
I don't
you
know.
say?
I don't know. And that's the problem. I don't have an answer. But it's just like, oh, he missed. He's digging for the sycamore. Oh, he didn't get it. Oh no.
It's just funny because that's the thing about the game is that you're not an omniscient player. Like you don't know what your opponent has. But when you're casting it and you're sort of this third person view, like you're like, oh, I know what every possible play is and what perfect play would happen due to the base on the.
They just need to mic the table.
Yeah. I mean,
Just need Mike the table.
I agree with that. They did for some of it. Like you could hear Ryan Sablehouse talks too goddamn much. I think that
I don't know. I am a fan of talking to your opponent,
I
and, and like I have no problem. I have no problem saying I'm a sycamore, and for me to stay in this game, I need to hit a fill blower and a choice band and a psychic energy,
yeah.
and then doing it and showing them the cards off the sycamore. I have no problem doing that stuff because otherwise it's fucking boring. Like, did he get it? Did he not get it? Like,
Yeah.
I like talking to the opponent just to like, you know, I don't want to say fuck with them, but it's like it's no fun if we're just sitting there.
I don't know.
If we're
Maybe I
just sitting
care
there
too
crossing
much.
our fingers.
I care too much. I get it. I understand. You should have fun. Get a good time. I won't have fun until like I'm out of the game. I'm out of top
Yeah.
three.
Yeah, I mean, all the last couple of cups, like unless the person sitting across the table from me is a jerk and like or weird,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to them. Like that happened once at the most recent cup, where this guy was like just not friendly and just didn't want to talk at all. I was like, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But then like after that, I forget who I played after that, but like I had another match with this other guy. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like I've been wanting to
I
play. I've
mean,
been wanting to play this deck. Like, let's see
right.
what happens. And like, oh, you need to. I'm gonna. I was like, you know how I'm gonna win this game, right? You're gonna hit tails twice off the confusion, and it's stuff like that. You just gotta.
I
You
guess
gotta
so.
like, because it's just. Because like if you're not gonna interact with the player across from you, just fucking play online.
I guess you're right. I mean, yeah. I just don't know if I can like. I don't. I'm not sure I can handle talking to someone and playing like
Right.
physically.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look at my cards and hope this goes well.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you'll be able to do it once you get to the point where you realize, like, all right, this is what I need to win. This is what they need to win.
Yeah.
See
If
what
I was
happens.
smarter, I'd be like, here we go. Like this is it.
Right.
I don't think I'm at that point yet, and I just need it to be like. It's because I play because I like knowing that I can get better at something, and like that for me is like some sort of personal goal. Like,
Sure.
I don't think I can get better if I'm like having fun, right? Like, that's my rationale behind like not being super talkative. But like I
Yeah.
get it now. I mean, and also when I used to come to Houston Cups, I didn't know none of these people.
Yeah, that's
I knew
true.
Aura, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like Aura,
Yeah.
people from Conroe now, but that's still like this wasn't like home turf. And like definitely when I was in Austin, I was like, oh hey, it's fucking I'm playing
Right.
such and
Yeah.
such, and I know he likes to play this. And,
That's true.
but
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I've had it to where this one guy did not talk. He would play cards and
even say what he was doing.
he wouldn't even say what he was doing. And this was at a cup in March in top 4,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's kind of odd.
the judge was watching. I was like, "Hey, man, I don't mean to be an asshole, but like, I think you got to say what you're doing because I don't want to misinterpret like, what I don't right, or what you're doing." Like, he would put down. He was playing Lapras, and he put down like Team Flurry Grunt, and then he put down like Crushing Hammer, Crushing Hammer. I was like, "Hey, I think I know what's going on, but like, I need you to kind of say it out loud." Yeah, and, like you're throwing stuff straight to the discard, and then you put in an Ultra Ball after that. So I don't know if you're discarding those to play the Ultra Ball, or you're playing those, and so it's one of those things where like maybe there's a fine line. But did Ryan say something on stream to make you
Oh
think
no,
that,
it
or
was
what?
just like a lot. Like, oh wow, you're really talking it up. Like,
Nah,
it
I
was
think that's
just,
good.
like a lot. I don't know. It was like I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't handle. Like only because it was like you could hear him over the casters. Like you could hear him.
Oh,
talking
okay.
that
Yeah,
much.
I don't. That's what I want to hear.
I mean, I guess that's like what people like about football. Is like you could hear them talk shit in football.
Yeah, or like imagine hearing like. Yeah, I mean that's what I am interested in hearing, but that's only because I know what's going on. Obviously, if you're new to the game, you're gonna want a caster to kind of explain, especially that dude. Apparently, that Puka is like legendary for teaching and having a bunch of destructive material.
Yeah. I
But
know
aside
Pokemon Radio used to be a caster for Pokemon.
yeah, I don't know about used to be. I think he still is.
Okay, because I didn't hear many this week, but I was like, when I heard it, when I saw his face, I was like, oh my god, that's what he looks like. Exactly what I thought.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, I don't like his videos, so I'm not gonna.
It's like, is this item the best card ever? No, probably not. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay.
It's like it's for noobs. Yeah. It's a noob channel. But anyway, what else did you see at Worlds that you liked?
I mean, it's like, does it matter? Doesn't matter what I liked from Worlds.
Yeah, it matters.
Switching up the format again, like we're coming out of it without any of the stuff. I mean, all these decks are going to be the same going forward, except no Versus Seeker, no Trainer's Mill. Everything else is still good. So there's only one Gardevoir in top 8, and then there's yeah, Gardevoir.
There's 2. There's 2. Yeah, 2.
So I don't know. I don't think I've tested enough against Gardevoir, but Calvin also showed me this deck, and it's like, okay, I thought I had an alright matchup against it, and no, I don't. I needed to hit an energy for like 3 turns, and I just couldn't get it.
Yeah. What is it about the deck that makes it hard for Volk, other than the one shots late game?
It's just the one shots late game. I mean, I could snipe. I sniped for 3 prizes, and I stopped his setup. But once he had 2 Gardevoirs out, it was just like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah.
So I just gotta stop that at that point. And like, I knocked out a Ralts, I knocked out a Tapu Lele, and then I was at 3 prizes, and I was like, damn. Even if I kill a GX, like I still have 1 more to go. So,
yeah.
And it was just like, I put 14 energy back in that deck too for standard Volcanion in the next format. And I was like, I just needed 1 to win, and I just couldn't hit it. And that's more. I'm wondering if that's more of like just the luck of the game, or I also misplayed the hell out of it. So no, that wasn't that turn. But like, the misplay was an expanded where I like Hex to play items, and I forgot to play my last item like a dummy. But yeah, it's just trying to figure out how to work around getting hit for that much damage so quickly. But I mean, do you think Volcanion's good against?
I want to play going forward. I want to play Volcanion and Mega Gardevoir. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to play anything else. Gardevoir. So like the way I think about it is, first standard tournament in Connecticut, everyone's gonna play Guarding. Yeah. So what are people gonna do? People are gonna play Metagross. So if people are playing Metagross, what do you want to play? You want to play Fire, or you play Metagross with Charizard from Evoultions, which we're gonna go through today.
Yeah.
For the mirror match, or Metagross with Necrozma. But either way, I think Volcanion is a very good, consistent deck going forward. I don't like the idea of fucking with the rare candy decks, especially where you can just Kiawe and get going as soon as possible. I'm down for that. So
I mean, it's fast. It's fast now, and I think any deck that's not Gardevoir, it's fine now.
Yeah. Did I tell you that? Go ahead.
I don't think we'll see much water in the next format, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, maybe after some of the new sets are released, but for right now, I don't know that we will. So Diego ended up winning. He's a player from Argentina. I played him round 2 in Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I told you about that. Did I talk to you about that?
Played around 2 what? Oh, you played round 2.
I played Diego, the guy that won last weekend.
This guy.
At Worlds,
Cassiraga.
yeah. I played him round 2 in Indy at Intercontinentals.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you lost.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously a world-class player.
We tied. We were both playing SB on guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all made the same meta call and y'all tied, so you're just as good.
Well, no, he probably would have had it. I think we tied, like, next turn he would have had it. So.
Fair enough.
And he was like, "Oh, you want to give it to me?" I was like, "No, it's too early on, man. I can't. If this was round, if you were going for the win in, and then yeah, I would give it to you. But like, yeah."
It's too early. What was I gonna say? Oh God, you banned him. Yeah, Kappa. I was gonna say, but yeah, that's cool. Cassiraga, you played against him. I haven't really played against any pros. I've only played against. I think his name's Jose.
Yeah.
Jose something.
Oh, Morero.
Yeah, Morero. And
Yeah.
I almost tied. I won the first one and I lost the second. Last
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, I tied a Tablemon too at Indy.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised by the world results. I think Gardevoir is just a good deck, man. It just hits heavy numbers, and like it's hard for if there were no Gardevoir GX, I think Espeon takes it. But like it's hard because with Espeon you need 3 energy for Psychic or Divide, so that's 90 damage right there.
Yeah.
And with Gardevoir GX, I mean, you could put down an energy and then attach with the ability. And I mean, if you have another Gardevoir out, then you can do another fairy. And just, I mean, if that deck gets going, it's kind of crazy. So I think that deck list stays the same. You take out Versus Seeker and you put, one more N or one more or just some more draw support, and that's it. So I don't know about. Apparently, there was a bunch of hype stuff in BGC, and that's the thing. Like BGC gets hyped the same way the FGC gets hyped, and maybe that's a little different.
Well, it's just because like pixels and loud, pretty colors. Like I think what needs to happen is they need to like, how Yu-Gi-Oh. They need a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, the cartoon
where you like put it on and you put it down and it like pops up and it's like.
Right.
That's
actually That's actually fucking genius.
Like if they Yu-Gi-Oh'd it, which I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard to create a Yu-Gi-Oh software. But I mean, all the cards would be $100,000 each, and how to play would be $1 billion. Like, but I mean, I don't think we're that far away from it being like super fucking dope. Like, look at him, fucking Infinity Force, like holy shit.
or like the same way it does it online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean even that's pretty. I mean, I think like if the Pokemon actually like came up and did some shit, like it'd be dope. But I just saying, in like 10 years, we'll be like, remember when we thought it was boring?
Yeah.
I mean, because it is kind of like they're just playing cards. It's like watching chess or watching like Pokemon. It's just sort of It's not fun unless you're playing it. Like
right.
Like I watched a lot of fucking Pokemon this weekend, and it was just more about me learning and trying to see what they were doing than it was about me getting interested in the game. Or like, oh, it's Ryan Sablehouse. Oh, it's fucking Brad. Like, they're my favorite.
Yeah. Right.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. I think Worlds was done fairly. It was done to the best it could be, but the best it could be is still not interesting enough to bring as many players as it needs to be the best.
Yeah. So yeah, I think again, Gardevoir GX going forward will be a good deck, and we'll see what happens. I think you and I need to, as the new cards leak, and like if there's a set out that we don't have translations for, don't know what's coming up, like we need to figure out like what's what coming up and when it will be released and what it'll help. But when we catch up with these set reviews, we'll get to that point.
Yeah.
So I think that I think that's a good game plan. But yeah, 25 G's is a lot of money. There's a lot of money.
Crazy.
Just got to be consistent, dude.
And Argentinian dollars, that's like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Oh, what do you think about the Salazzle deck?
Okay, so I'm thinking about it. It's kind of dope.
What does it do? I don't even know.
So Salazzle GX, when you use it after you've taken so many prize cards, it does 50 per each prize card you've taken. So it's a late game. You use it late game to like hit for 120 with 2 energy, or 250 for 2 energy, or whatever. Right. So you probably were taking 4, so it's 200 damage that are done. So that's how it works. So you use the Ho-Ho early and the Volcanions to steam up the Ho-Ho. And then once you're done with that, you bring in the Slazzle to take out the last knockouts, which are particularly the hardest ones for Volcanion to hit, just because you've burned through so much of your deck trying to set up the first two knockouts. So at that point, having the Slazzle come in and be able to hit for 200, it can only be 200 plus Choice Band because it's not a basic Pokemon. You won't be able to steam them up, so you just have to use them correctly. And it's good with Guzma, since he'll be sitting on your bench powered up, ready to go. You won't have to worry about too much else.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah. World's list. I saw some, I think I was joking about it before, but I did think Team Fish Nichols did a video on it.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If I type in Slazzle Worlds List, and I think it's like Slazzle OP, like some of the stuff, you know.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens going forward.
I mean, there weren't any other really like rogue lists, right?
No, I didn't see any.
Yeah, you got top 16. Let me see if I can read through this really quickly. Yeah, it's just Kiawe via Seeker. It's like there's no additional stuff in here. There's a Shaman and 3 Lele. Like this Slazzle list is just like bare bones. Like get as many energy as you can.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you would expect. Like that's kind of dope, to be quite frank. It's 3 Ho-Ho, 2/2 Linus Slazzle. I think it's just 2 Volcanion EX and then the Turtonator and the little Volcanion, and like that's all it is. And there's no like set up your Volcanions. It's like purely like it just does what it's supposed to do. There's no extra bonus shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's cool.
All right, man. You want to run through Evolutions real quick?
Yep. Let me pull that thing up.
All right. I think I know the answer to this already. I mean, I don't know that. I think right now it's Clefairy and Mewtwo and Charizard, and I think that's it. Maybe Electrode, but like this is a set that I'm kind of familiar with because this is a set that we started with.
Yeah.
But let me see real quick.
I can go. Also, this list has Starmie, Staryu.
Oh yeah, Staryu. I think this one's gonna be pretty quick, but we'll go through it.
Expansion is oldest, shown on filters. Evoultions. I think I have it flipped the wrong way. No, it starts off with Venusaur at number 1. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and those are reprints from Generations, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Venusaur EX, it does nothing for a lot of energy. Mega Venusaur does even less.
Yeah, I think you skipped to Beedrill.
Stefan, in your opponent's turn, okay, that's not good.
Yeah.
Beedrill.
And I think this is just a starter deck. For someone that's Beedrill with Mew, I think that's all you do is you play Beedrill with Mew.
Storming Sting?
Actually, no, you can't play with Mew. Shit. Yeah, or maybe the Mew EX. I think. Let me see real quick. If that's legal, that might not even be legal anymore.
Okay, so that's a stage 2. That's wild, bro.
Yeah, that actually might not be legal. But yeah, it's just like a beginner starter deck. I think the main thing is the Charizard.
Oh shit! Energy burn.
Yeah, it's so you put that in. You put that as a tech in Metagross for the mirror match. Or Kiao.
Yeah, Kiao.
Or you. I mean, yeah, I think it's mostly. Someone is right. Beedrill was replaced by Passimian. But I think you need some of these Charizards if you plan on running Metagross, and maybe there's a deck where you can stick it in, like the same way Gardevoir GX has 3 GXs and then has that one baby, the Gallade.
Yeah.
I think that's what you do with Charizard. Is you use it as a one-off.
Fair enough.
I think it's good in the Metagross mirror match.
Is this the wing attack one?
No, the baby Charizard.
The energy
So go
one?
back, yeah, go back to the one with energy burn.
Yeah.
And so look at that ability, bro. Just look at that
Okay,
ability.
okay. I see now.
So you can bring up from the Metagross ability metal energy and psychic energy
And just
to
attach it.
Charizard as the active, but they're going to turn into fire. So you can have an energy in your hand, attach per turn, 3 Metagross, and just Geotech. And now it's fire, and you have 200 for the mirror match. And then they go back into the discard, so you can Geotech them back again if you
Oh,
need.
that's
If
pretty
you
sick.
so it stays up there. The Charizard or the Charizard EX, I don't know that they are any good, but I think you need. So I have 2 of those, so I think you need at least one of those. I mean, maybe you can Kiawe with Mega Charizard, but I don't know that it's going to be a good deck going forward anyway. So, um, let's
I'm not really
see.
writing any of these down because they're not worth.
Yeah, I think it's just Charizard, man. I've been through this set a couple of times. Maybe there's something you can play with on the Blastoise EX, but
I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
Ninetales Break is kind of cool.
what does it do?
For
I
every
kind of skipped
energy you
over.
discard from this Pokemon, discard all fire energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage for each of the energy you discarded in this way.
That's hard. That's a stage 2.
Yeah.
I hit to discard, so
That good. Yeah. Blacksmith.
I know, yeah, maybe I don't know. The Starmie, obviously, you need Starmie for Volcanion, and frankly, a lot of decks. What does the Starmie break do?
Stormy Break. Blastoise is no good.
No,
Amnesia's not no good.
no, I don't think so, dude. Yeah, no, Starmie break is dumb.
You don't like low roll spin?
No.
Space Beacon. Once per turn, you may discard a card from your hand to put 2 basic energy from your discard pile to your hand. Why doesn't Gardevoir run Starmie?
Maybe it should.
Discard any? It doesn't discard any.
What is the ability on the Starmie again?
Discard 1 card and you can put 2 basic energy from your discard pile into your hand.
That actually is a good idea. There you go.
Why doesn't they do
Let's
that?
get some Starmies, bro.
We have one.
Yeah, let's get some more.
Heart the Starmie. I mean, yeah, I just don't. I guess they don't discard on purpose, like with purpose, so they don't run it. But,
Yeah.
and also, they don't really care about items because they just reshuffle them in. So they can just
Yeah.
run energy retrievals or whatever they want. And they also have too much space on their bench because they have artillery, Gallade.
Yeah.
So, Double Beam, Dragon's Rage. Flip 2 coins. If either of them tails, it's attacked or something. That's really bad. Flip a coin. I'm already sad. Raichu. Nope. Magnetite. So these were once just the format.
I like this. I like the Ghastly and the Haunter. I don't know why.
Let's see. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned for 2 damage. I'm sorry, I'm reading the Nidoking Break. That's stage 3. Instead of, okay, that's really bad. Cool. You just like them? Little grudge?
Yeah, because we were talking about that Gengar line a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like if there's 3 damage counters on the defending Pokemon, it's automatically knocked out, and then maybe you can switch it in with one of these.
Yeah. Dream Eater, no. Hypnosis and then Dream Eater, okay, that's fine. So the Mewtwo tech.
Yeah, Mewtwo really has only been used for the mirror match for Espeon GX. I haven't seen it in anything else.
Yeah.
Because Mewtwo with the sight mute. So if Mewtwo has got a what do you call it?
DCE.
A DCE and a psychic, and you have Mewtwo with the choice band that can also do psychic. That's a one hit KO.
Yeah. Energy absorption.
Nah, I think that's garbage.
Neutral shield.
Let's see. I think you skip to Clefairy. Secret Tech, Clefairy. Metagross. Though, I think it's kind of like Mimikyu, but maybe it's a little bit of a better version of Mimikyu.
During your next turn, I'm reading Machamp Break. So during your next turn, this Pokemon's attacks do 100 more damage to your opponent's active. It doesn't have a lot of HP anyway. And it's a stage 4.
Dude.
Clefairy Tech.
Metagross, Clefairy.
Choose one of your opponent's active attacks and use this attack. Why are we not doing that?
Because it's got 40 HP.
But it's a one prize attacker for 1 million damage. Or whatever they can do. It's really good.
Yeah.
And then you can like some of them into like, I just smack you.
I mean, it only works well in Metagross, I think. Or maybe Gardevoir. But it's a good one-off. I think I like it doesn't have the limitation that Mimikyu has. So Mimikyu says you can only use the attack that the defending Pokemon used last turn, but like Clefairy's like just pick one of their attacks and fucking use it.
Yeah. Let's see.
I like Pidgey, but in a different format. I think Megas are dead.
Yeah.
So
you may have your opponent switches her active Pokemon in front of her bench. That's kind of cool.
Oh, Dragonite EX, maybe something that's used. I don't know that. I mean, the only deck I've ever seen it in is Rayquaza, so I don't know that it's going to be a thing.
We don't want to use Porygon with Conversion 3?
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
So
Someone
cool.
missed. Oh, you know what? I forgot about Raticate.
Yeah, Crunch.
Raticate is good for mill decks. So if you plan on testing your mill decks for next format,
dope.
Yeah, I mean you could like Plumeria, you can Crunch, Plumeria, Enhanced Hammer. I mean, there's a lot of good plays with Raticate mill going forward. Maybe Houndoom mill going forward. Yeah, Dragonite wasn't Despair Ray Gardevoir. Forgot about that, but yeah, I think Raticate is good. If they have four special energy in the discard, that's 240 right there.
Yeah.
And a lot of these Gardevoir GX decks have been using 4 DCE and a Wonder Energy.
Yeah.
So that's 5. So 300 damage if you can knock them all out.
Yeah, and you saw like the way the Drampa Garb deck works now.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have a 1/1 line of Raticate.
And I have 4 of those, so we got those because I played that once before. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Flying Pikachu.
Where are you at?
There's nothing else after that.
No, Someone is right. Brock's Grit.
Oh yeah, let's get to the trainers. Boop.
So I've heard this thought. Let me know. Tell me what you think. But someone thought that Misty's Determination would be a good play. Would be a good card to replace Versus Seekers with.
Let me look.
The Brock's Grid, obviously, I think, is a good card.
Alright, we got Misty's Determination. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand. It's the supporter still.
Yeah, I know it's a supporter.
I mean, I don't think it replaces Yes Seeker. It's a good card, sure.
What about Pokedex? I always thought Pokedex was decent. Like if decks are running Octillery, didn't this Pokedex for
Yeah, but I mean, there's a reason why people are having to run artillery.
What do you mean?
Or like the Gallade, right? The Gallade, I mean, you're just saying that you would rather not have to have a stage 2 Gallade to do this.
Correct. I would rather have Pokedex and just do it.
Yeah. I just don't know. It's just the space in your deck isn't. You dedicate it to where that it doesn't matter what the 5 card should be. The 5 card should be good regardless, right?
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes you need that one card. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's not a bad card. It's worth writing down.
Yeah. And obviously there's reprints of Energy Retrieval and Switch, which are good cards. And then they reprinted Energy, which is nice.
Yeah.
In the old style. These are the cards that I like using, these Energy cards.
Are there any special energy in this list? ECE?
Just a reprint of the old looking Energy.
I like how they gave Fairy and Dark, right? Fairy and Dark Energy.
Yeah.
Classic looks. So that's kind of dope.
Yeah, and yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, I like the Hollow Fire that I have.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the best one.
So sick.
Yeah. But yeah, there's not a lot from this set. There's a lot of awesome looking cards, but someone said this, I forget who it was, but like Evoultions was the play by TCPI to get all of the older players back into the game.
Did it work?
And, yes, it did. Yeah, yep. I mean, it was the energy that did it. I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet.
Yeah. And
like this full out trainer, like it's like old school. Because that's what I pulled at my pre-release was a Brock's Grit at Card Shack. I was like, oh my god. That's amazing. Like having never seen a full art trainer before.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. Hitmonchan was good for a little bit as a tech in maybe it's good in fighting decks, like because Dramper's got fighting weakness and Zoroark has fighting weakness, but I don't know that it's worth going out of your way to find.
Yeah.
So. Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's how set let's go. I think
that's
just
that's clearly
set,
yeah. It's for collectors. Yeah. So, well, that's the set review. We already kind of talked about the League Cup. One last thing to maybe kind of go over again. Hopefully that League Cup happens.
Yeah. We'll see.
It may not. But shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, just I think what we do is if it happens, we get the winners on here, and then we can post that in the Houston groups.
We can just talk to ourselves. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, right.
Got it. How do we feel about winning the tournament we were talking about?
The cup?
I mean,
I think it's gonna be rough.
It's just hard.
It's
we don't play expanded.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy, dude. I mean, everyone is going into it blind, which is good. But it's not gonna. It's rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean it's rock paper scissors, but what you pick is already picked for you, and what you play is also already picked for you.
Yeah.
So hopefully we hit the good matchups. But I think everyone's in the same boat. Like it's a bit of a blind play. So. Yeah, man, that's it. I think that's what we do from now on out. Is like once we set review, we interview the Cup champions, get a bit of a bigger audience, because I think people are missing out the local stuff, and then see what happens.
Well,
that's all I got for the night.
I mean, that's pretty much the same for me. I just think that this is the only thing we can worry about now is expanded cup on Saturday and whether or not it happens, and we'll come back next week and either have something to talk about or we'll have to come up with something because
fingers crossed.
Be upset about expanded, or we'll be talking about how we're going to Indy, right? We're going to Indy, yay!
Yeah.
I mean,
let us know.
Honestly, though, for real, if we go to Indy, then that's a big old whole another thing.
Yeah, we'll see what
line
happens.
format into a whole regional.
Yeah.
But if we can put it together, we'll put it together. If not, it's fine.
Yeah, like I said, that's
Is
all
Indy
I
after the
got.
first? Is Indy after the first?
Yeah, yeah.
What day is Indy?
Saturday, dude. I put my Twitter in the chat. Yeah, nobody can add me. I'm weird like that. The only reason why I have a Facebook is for Burbank and Fonte. So nobody's allowed to add me as a friend.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let me look at regionals. Just really quickly. Control F regionals. Control F regionals.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Indianapolis is the 9th. I'll have gotten paid on the
Is
1st.
it? No, it's not.
It's on the second. It's on the 3rd. 2nd and 3rd. My bad. I'll have gotten paid on the 1st. So instead of paying my student loans, I can go to Indianapolis. Just like that.
That's the life. That's the life right there.
I don't need to pay student loans. I can just go to Fort Wayne and win money.
Yeah, your mom's a co-signer. Just let her pay.
Exactly. That's how it works. You gotta get the co-signer so that you can't default.
Can have the fun.
We can't default. It's a we situation.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see ya.
Sounds good, man. I will check in later, and then.
What's your at Twitter?
Oh yeah, I put it in the chat. It's Louis Stephen Bias, my full name.
All right, my name. All right, well, mine's at MP Bias 12. But
Sweet.
We'll get there. Just how you naturally throw in your Twitters into real life conversation. Just
Right.
Out.
I can find yours. I can post it in there.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm probably gonna play a couple matches here. I'm gonna try to build Seismitoad online, and then
Okay, cool.
off, but we'll see.
All right, well, I'm gonna sign off then.
All right, well, peace out, man.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye. All right, he's gone. Now we can start the real show.